Rock and roll! Strong and the Geek!
Welcome to the Strong and the Geek podcast. Woo.
It is I, your host, Josh Ramirez, and with me, my special guest co-host, not the Magenta Ranger.
Oh, I'm not the Magenta Ranger. I thought you were going to say not Zordon.
No,
And then I'd have to come in and be like, not Rangers.
Okay, no, hold on. So just for the sake of the episode, because you clearly want to be not Zordon, you can be not Zordon.
Well, what would the not Magenta Ranger say?
Hey, everybody, it's me.
What would the Magenta Ranger, what would their Zord be? If we're going first season, so like prehistoric animals.
It would be one of those big coelacanth.
Oh, like the weird lobe fin fish?
That still exists.
Yeah, they pulled one up out. Okay, I feel like, would it fly, or would it only be a submarine?
Submarine.
So they're like the reserve ranger they call in for special missions.
Yeah, and then when they become the Megazord, the coelacanth just like floats up, it grabs it, and it just becomes like a frisbee that it throws.
Oh, dude, that would be cool though if there was like a Power Ranger series where it's like different teams from around the world. So you can send in like Power Rangers SEAL Team 6.
Are you sure they haven't already done that? They've probably
have.
They've
Probably
done that.
But it's like a World Ranger League.
I'm sure that's happened.
Probably.
Anyway, welcome to the Strong and the Geek, your weekly, back to being weekly.
Yeah, weekly when we record.
Update on all things nerd culture, geek culture, at this point really sports culture, political culture, stupid joke culture, pretty
where
much
we talk
pop
movies,
culture.
TV, video games, comic books, and the like.
And even every now and then, a bite to eat.
Yes.
We have a great show for you this week. We'll be discussing a lot of fun things that happened this week in geek news, as well as diving into some of our thoughts on childhood properties being revisited.
For a second, I actually thought you were going to say child labor laws, and I was going to say I'm against child labor. I'm for child labor laws.
I was going to say, yeah, that's not the bridge we're taking today. We'll talk about child labor laws at a future episode. That leaves it ambiguous. But first things first, what'd you get into this week?
Well, this week I've been sick, so not a whole lot of stuff.
You were watching a lot of internet videos.
Yeah.
And movie trailers.
Super sick. Actually, I played another game. It's called Toikiden 2. It's made from Koi Games, the same people that make like the Dynasty Warriors franchise.
Which is like your favorite game.
Not my favorite, but that's a fun game to play. This one was not.
You guys can't see this, obviously, but he just got a boner when he said Dynasty Warriors.
I got two.
Two boners.
But anyway, yeah, suck both my dicks. Toikiden 2 is like a RPG version
of Dynasty Warriors?
It's got similar game mechanics.
Does it take place in feudal China?
No. It's a made-up world full of demons, and you play someone called Slayer, who's a demon hunter.
Your name is Slayer?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can name your character, but
his original name is
the
Slayer?
original name is just Slayer.
That's cool.
And here's the thing about it. The game is, like, almost fully voiced, but they didn't bother dubbing English, so it's still just Japanese.
Okay. And
then a crap load of text, which I'm not going to sit down and read all that stuff.
You don't like to read subtitles?
No.
I don't mind subtitles every now and then.
It's just so much dialogue to get to, like, the first thing.
So since it's around Easter time, does that mean you thought Passion of the Christ was a piece of shit because you had to read through it?
No, I thought it was a piece of shit because it's a poorly shot movie.
Okay, so you're going on record as saying that you think The Passion of the Christ is a shitty movie.
Yeah.
For the record.
It doesn't focus on any of the good things Jesus did. It's just a guy getting beat up for 2 hours.
Because it's a movie passion play, and passion plays were the crucifixion story.
Okay, well, I just think that doesn't make for a good movie.
All right, so I want to hear you say it.
That I already did. The Passion of the Christ is a bad movie.
No, use the S word.
It's a shitty movie.
You heard it right now. If lightning strikes this computer in our studio, that's why.
Whoa, just got dark in here all of a sudden. No, yeah, I'm
all right, so back to shitty video games and not
I
sacrilege.
hope our mom isn't listening to this episode.
I mean, yeah, okay.
But yeah, Toikiden 2 is just so boring. It's so boring. And then when you finally get to the action, it's just like hack and slash. So, who cares? Like, just do the hack and slash then. Don't make me have to read seriously. If I would have read it and not just skip through it, it probably would have been a half an hour before I killed anything.
Like Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, but Metal Gear Solid is intriguing.
Oh, the story's cool, yeah.
This is not.
Right.
So, yeah, Toukiden 2 gets a bad. I have since returned it.
Okay. No bueno.
No bueno.
All right. Anything else after your... I know you said you saw some movie trailers this week.
I did. We all saw the Spider-Man Homecoming new trailer. Which looks great.
Looks real good.
The only issue I have with it as a trailer is that if you watch it, beginning to end, it just shows you everything that happens in the movie, condensed down.
Which I don't like that in trailers either. However, I'm hoping that isn't the case. I'm hoping that we think that's the case, but that's not the actual case.
What I'm saying is...
We know now he's going to lose the suit.
We know he loses the suit.
We know that it's because of a boat accident.
Like, if they would have just shown him in the old suit, you'd have been like, oh, is that a flashback? Or what's going to happen? Now we know exactly what happens in the story of this movie.
I'm hoping that it's like a red herring, that there's other stuff that's going to happen that we don't know about.
Yeah, all I know is that it looks like the plot is literally... The first thing happens in that building, then he meets up with Tony Stark. Tony Stark gives him the spiel. He goes to save that boat. Tony Stark has to help him out. He takes the suit, and then he has to go fight Michael Keaton sans metal suit.
Until he gets the suit back, and then is in Washington, D.C. for some reason.
Also, I know I'm not the only person to point this out, but one of Iron Man's lines is, if you're nothing, or if you, or what does he say? If you're nothing without the suit, then you're nothing, or something like that. Isn't that the entire plot of Iron Man 3? Is that his life sucks when he doesn't have the suit?
Well, Iron Man's a piece of shit. I've already established that on this show multiple times.
Yes, I know.
So, that is, I agree.
Iron Man is literally the only Avenger that is nothing without the suit.
I mean
he's rich and smart.
We're about to learn whether or not Thor is something without the hammer.
Well, that was the first Thor movie.
And he wasn't. But,
yeah, no,
so
he got ghosted pretty easy.
Thor Ragnarok, are we going to find out if he's something without the hammer? Like, he's going to not have the hammer for a bit?
Well, presumably he's going to have to go fight in a gladiatorial arena sans hammer.
And here's the thing. In the comic books right now, there are multiple Thors.
Yes, and Odinson,
so
who
this
was,
Thor...
previously Thor.
He's been doing fine without his hammer.
Yeah, I mean, he does have a sweet axe and a metal arm. So, there's that.
Okay, but Tony Stark doesn't have anything other than the Iron Man's
metal arms. Yeah.
And a bad goatee.
All I'm saying is that Spider-Man is still Spider-Man sans metal suit.
And he's going to...
Iron Man is just a rich guy.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. Well, actually, no, but in the Avengers, Captain America says, behind that metal suit, what are you? And he says, a billionaire playboy philanthropist. Why does he throw playboy in there? What is Playboy like? That does have to do. Billionaire philanthropist. Okay, those are two good things. But Playboy,
it's a dick measuring contest.
No, Captain America wasn't measuring dicks. Captain America was saying, "Put your money where your mouth is," and then he tried to put his dick where Captain America's mouth was.
But that's Chris Evans' mouth.
Chris Evans is
I can't
awesome.
really blame Robert Downey Jr. for trying.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
Tony Stark. let me back that up. I'm sure that Robert Downey Jr. isn't hooking up with Chris Evans behind scenes. If it is, it needs to be released on the internet right now.
Oh, man. Here's the thing. At the end of the day, all I'm going to say, I'm going to digress here and say Captain America's awesome. But Spider-Man Homecoming, I agree with you. It looks very linear in terms of plot, and it's been literally seemingly spelled out to us. However, I still think the movie looks sweet. Tom Holland, I'm still sold on as Spider-Man, and I'm all for it. Here's the thing, though. Did you see in the news that Spider-Man might get this? He might get Infinity War, and he might get one more Spider-Man movie, and then Sony's taking him back?
Yeah, I don't...
I pray to Jesus that's not true.
Look, the reason...
And like the cool Jesus, not the Passion of the Christ, which is a shitty movie, Jesus.
I think the reason why Iron Man is so prominent in this movie, which is not an Iron Man film, is because this is Sony's... I mean, Sony still gets the money for a solo Spider-Man movie, right? Mm-hmm. Which means they're like, oh shit, that means we can get Iron Man in a Spider-Man movie. Let's do that shit. I think if it works really well and they make a lot of money off this, they're not going to go forward with that. Because why would you shoot yourself in the foot? Like, if they do that, I'm not going to go watch another Spider-Man movie.
This movie's going to make bank. That's already...
Yeah,
that's already...
Absolutely.
One, since it's established as being the MCU, I mean, the Spider-Man movie's already made bank, but this is an MCU Spider-Man movie, it's going to make bank.
Yeah.
It's going to make probably, I'm going to guess right now, lowballing it, $700,000.
This is the only reason why.
Let me say 700 million. Sorry.
Yeah, I know what you meant. This is the only reason I wish
And that's
things
lowballing it.
for Marvel would go the way they have gone for DC, which is just popularity of characters.
Right.
I mean, the whole reason a lot of people don't know that why so many different studios have rights to different Marvel characters, and it's because there was a time period where Marvel was about to go bankrupt.
Right.
So they sold off the movie rights to their characters to whoever would pay for them, and then they had a select few that nobody was willing to buy,
Right.
namely the Avengers. So they made lemonade out of lemons. But they can't use their big names like the X-Men and Spider-Man or the Fantastic
those
Four.
were the ones that were wanted, were X-Men,
Exactly.
Fantastic Four, and anything that was closely related to them in their universe. So with Spider-Man as a package deal, this is why they have Venom and Doc Ock and all those people, because it's a package deal with Spider-Man. Same thing with X-Men and Fantastic Four. Then there are some people that are in the gray, like the gray area, like Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, because they're on contract an Avenger and an X-Men, and that's why they were able to appear in both. Yeah.
They just had to be clearly different versions of the same characters.
Right, which there's some, I know, like, people like Deadpool that is straight up owned by Fox for X-Men,
Yeah.
but I've heard talk that since Deadpool appears sometimes in other media, like other groups, I mean, and stuff, I've heard talk about, like, well, what if they gave a different rendition of a Deadpool? Could he pop up in another movie? I certainly hope not, but...
Yeah, well, first of all, yeah, that would be awful.
Right.
Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool.
Or like Wolverine. Wolverine's been an Avenger plenty of times, so... I've heard people talk like, oh, do you think they want to do another Wolverine in the MCU? I hope not. But...
No, I'm all right to just let go of Wolverine. And frankly, people have talked about, like, how's Deadpool going to fit into the X-Men universe? I'm like, don't! Keep him completely separate, because those movies have tone differences. If you throw Deadpool in to the next X-Men Apocalypse movie, whatever, there's going to be a bunch of grim-faced people, and one guy just going around ball-tagging people.
But that's what...
It's going to make for a shit movie.
Well, not necessarily, though, but... I mean, I would say that I think, for the most part, yes, but I feel like there are some characters in the X-Men movies that Deadpool would get along. Like Quicksilver and Deadpool, that'd be kind of fun.
Deadpool would make...
Yeah, Quicksilver, right?
Yeah, Deadpool would make more sense in the Guardians of the Galaxy universe than it would in the X-Men universe.
Yeah, that's true.
Just tonally speaking.
Right. Anyway, so we're kind of taking the discussion here in a way. I'll say Marvel, so in terms of Spider-Man, we hope that you stay in the MCU, and if you depart ways, if Sony's going to start making their own Spider-Man movies, for the love of God, that's fine if they're individual Spider-Man movies, but keep Tom Holland and keep him, like, don't explicitly say it's still in the universe, but, you know.
Now, we did get another trailer. This was actually last Saturday, but we haven't recorded since then, which was Justice League.
Holy shit.
Yeah, you know what? This trailer is significantly better than...
Well, we didn't have it. We had just footage before.
Right.
It was just some footage.
No, I meant than the Spider-Man Homecoming trailer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, just...
The Spider-Man Homecoming trailer, like, it was a lot of cool stuff, but now I'm like, well, do I even need to see the movie? I know what happens.
Yeah, Justice
This
League...
one is still, like, I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen.
Here's the thing. Justice League, there's no secret in terms of what... We know that it's going to be the Justice League assembling to fight Steppenwolf and Parademons. That's the overarching thing. Now, all the nuts and bolts about it, we don't know.
Right.
Spider-Man, we kind of know now what the second act's going to look like and that kind of thing. This movie, we don't
know what the first, second, and third acts are going to look like.
Justice League, we don't know. And I'm obviously biased, so I'll let you take the lead on this one.
All right. So, yeah, the first thing, if I'm going to start with the stuff that I think worked really well, Aquaman looks amazing in this movie.
You know what? I'm going to go as far as to say that almost all the characters look freaking great.
I will say almost. I really didn't like the design for Cyborg.
I knew you were going to say that, and here's the thing. I'm waiting. I'm going to wait to see the movie.
Yeah, no,
there are things that appear in footage before that isn't
great.
And
especially because his costume is almost completely CGI. I'm sure that it will have touching up by the time the movie comes out. But it suffers from the same syndrome. Like, when you saw Iron Man in the original film, when it was just him, like, full face mask and whatnot, yeah, it was CGI. But when it was Robert Downey Jr. walking around, he was in a really big suit. So it looked real. Because we see some of Cyborg's face, I feel like they should have just put a suit on him, like a prosthetic suit, and then enhance it with CGI.
I agree, but
I'm not obvious.
But I'm not going to see. Here's the thing. My only thing, I agree with you. In the trailer, and from what I've seen, I'm not going to go as far as say I think it looks horrible. It's going to be a shitty movie because I saw some people saying that like it looks so bad that I'm not like stupid, and I'm like,
no, that's overboard.
I think that it could look better. However, that being said, one, I haven't seen the movie, and two, I don't know what they're gonna do with it. Like, I don't know how they're going to be having... To be fair, like, if they're going to have him being, like, Cyborg, like, in the comic books, where he's constantly changing his arm into a gun or doing other stuff, where he's constantly doing things or putting his booster jets and flying, where it's not feasible to do that practically, and they can animate it a little bit better, so it looks cleaner, I'm okay with it.
Well, and this Cyborg is straight up Iron Man. I mean, he's flying about. Face mask comes down and makes him look like Deadshot, which was pretty cool.
That looked cool, yeah. I would say, other than that moment, everything else to me is still Cyborg. But.
Yeah. But yeah, when we saw the full shot of him standing with the others, it did look like a cartoon character hanging out with Jason Momoa and Gal Gadot. And Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
Which, admittedly, the way they do the animation for the Flash running looks really good.
Looks cool, right?
It looks very cool. And the thing is, I love the Flash TV series, and I think everything they do there is pretty good. But this Flash looks super.
Right. And I like
although I don't like his suit as much as I just like the TV show one, which is just like a simple like running suit.
Yeah, I think what they're going here for is the idea that this is a more like... They're trying to have it be like more like realistic to an extent, that it's supposed to be like some kind of plates or something that would understand the friction and everything, and also like the lightning, as opposed to Barry's suit that is explained solely as like, oh well, Cisco made it, so it has to be.
Yeah. Well, the other thing about it is I feel like everything that Zack Snyder makes is like super extreme, and they're going for like that Injustice, Gods Among Us, like everything is extreme.
Oh, he definitely.
Batman's rocking armor.
I'm sure.
Flash is rocking.
I'm gonna say that Zack Snyder loves Injustice with no evidence to back that up. I'm gonna say he loves Injustice.
Yeah. But we got a lot of quips in this. We got they're quipping about, which is good. I think that maybe they have taken some cues from the fans to be like, hey, let's lighten it up a little bit. Although the color palette and the actual lighting of the movie are still really dark, I'm just hoping that we don't lose some of the action in the darkness of it.
To be fair, a lot of this movie is going to take place at night. Yeah. Namely because Batman operates at night.
Unless you watch The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, well, that's true. And then the parademons, if we're going, which is based on Justice League War, the parademons, they're waiting till night to do their thing. Yeah. So.
No, and that's fine. I'm just worried that everything being a bit dark, it'll be hard to like make out some of the cool stuff that they're gonna do. Although I will say, a lot of it will be in slow motion because again, Zack Snyder loves his slow mo shots. So we will see what happens.
I will say this much to run down for me. I thought what we see of Wonder Woman and what we see of all of them fighting the parademons. For one thing, these are parademons. They look awesome.
Yeah, they look great,
and that's sweet. And I love how no big changes from how they look in Batman vs Superman, which they looked cool in that too.
Yeah,
I like that. That's continuity. I also enjoy, like you said, Aquaman looks awesome, and seeing him jumping off the Batmobile, like laughing.
Yeah, and then like catching a ship in midair.
I'm gonna have to go out and say Aquaman's gonna be the breakout star.
Yeah, I think Aquaman's probably gonna be my favorite character, and this is a movie with Batman in it.
Yeah, and here's the thing, but Batman also, we got to see Batman and Commissioner Gordon, and Commissioner Gordon looks awesome.
Yeah, we got to see J.K. as
and you know what?
Commissioner Gordon.
I'm perfectly fine with it being a little tiny role like that.
Oh, for sure.
We got a glimpse of Mira really quickly, and she looks great also. Overall, the trailer got me pumped.
The only thing that's funny is like there's a moment in the trailer where it's like all the big stuff happening where it's like quick jump, and one of the quick jumps is just Victor Stone running as like football. You know what I mean? Before he becomes Cyborg, right. It doesn't feel like it fits in with that little montage of scenes.
And I'm kind of worried. That was the one thing I was worried about. I hope that the Victor, because obviously they're going to be doing Cyborg flashbacks. I hope that they do them in a way that makes sense with the plot. Well,
also, I don't want it to be... Because obviously we have to do an origin for Flash, for Cyborg, and for Aquaman.
No, not necessarily.
I hope it's not too bloated. I mean, we see Barry sitting with his dad in prison. Right. We see Cyborg, or Victor Stone running as the quarterback or whatever. We see Mira. So we're going to be getting bits from all of their backstories.
No, not necessarily. So all the Atlantis stuff... Because remember, one of the mother boxes is in Atlantis, and one was in Themyscira, and one was with the humans.
And one of the humans buried outside. Remember that shot? It just shows a bunch of like farmers burying a
mother
box.
They're not farmers. They look like samurai warriors or something.
Whatever.
But so it's seemingly they're gonna have to go to Atlantis at some point. I don't think it's gonna be backstory. I think it's gonna be like Mira and them are involved in like present day the conflict. So I don't think that's gonna be exposition or backstory, or at least not a lot of it. Flash. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Flash talking to his dad about whatever, or like going to talk to his dad about being scared about like, hey, this might be the end or something, or just want to see his dad. The only one I think it's going to be flashback and origin is Cyborg, and that's because most people aren't familiar with Cyborg.
Yeah.
Besides, and even the people who are like, oh, he's the guy from Teen Titans in my kid show, but they don't know his
Yeah.
origin.
Well, and that's just
his
like
origin-
Justice League War
Well, his
was Cyborg origin story.
And yeah, in both the comic book and the movie. Like,
Yeah.
So I just don't like in that one. It felt like it just kind of plopped out of nowhere, and that was actually one of my complaints about Justice League War, was that I felt like Cyborg's origin had to be forced in there.
Yeah, and I mean, Cyborg's cool, but given the full expanse of the Justice League, he's a lesser character, or one that I personally care less about, I should say.
And I will, in just a couple seconds, a couple minutes, when I talk about how I read Cyborg Rebirth Volume 1 today, I'll tell you why I have a little bit more interest in Cyborg.
Oh, that's fair.
But yeah, Justice League trailer for me, got me hyped. I've already been hyped, but I'm even more hyped.
Yep. The last bit of news, rumor mill says that on Star Wars Day, they're going to be releasing the trailer for Episode 8, which
May the 4th?
May the 4th be with you.
That would be a wonderful gift.
I cannot wait.
And then May 5th, we get Guardians, too.
Guardians comes out May 5th? Mm-hmm. Oh, shoot.
So May the 4th, Star Wars.
Hopefully we'll get the trailer.
Right.
And then the Han Solo movie comes out not Christmas the next year,
2018.
but summer the next year.
Mm-hmm.
So we won't even have to wait a full year for in between Star Wars films.
I rewatched Rogue One last night. It's still just as good as it was before.
Yeah,
if not better.
For all of you that fell for the Star Wars joke on April Fool's Day, there is not going to be a Rogue 2.
I didn't even hear about that.
Oh yeah, Star Wars came out and they were like, "Hey, big thing we'd love to announce is that we're gonna be, even though it may have looked a certain way, Jyn Erso and Cassian are coming back," and we're like, "What?
What idiot fell for that?
And then a lot of people.
That's true.
But then someone was like you would see comments beneath it, and it was like, "Oh my god, I can't wait! Oh, how did they get out of here? Oh, look at Hollywood always reviving someone." And then someone would be like, "It's April Fool's Day," and someone else would be like, "It's so amazing! Oh, I think this sucks. It's still April Fool's Day."
Yeah, that's how it always
There'd
happens.
always be one person who's like, guys, shut up! Look at the date. Why would they announce this today?
Yeah, I honestly take anything that happens, even if it's like a bombing in Westminster Abbey or something. It's like, no, there's no way. Like it's
What a shitty April Fool's prank.
it was a fake bomb.
Yeah. ISIS comes out and they're like, April Fools! It was just filled with candy.
The Easter egg and goo. I don't know what Easter egg goo is.
You mean the Cadbury cream egg goo?
I was actually trying to say the green fake grass
Oh.
for some reason, but in my head, it came out of my mouth as Easter egg goo.
Easter egg goo.
That's what I'm just referring to it now. As Easter egg
a little
goo.
bit of Easter egg goo, and then you put your little candies and whatnot.
Exactly. So really quick, just a couple things I want to mention before we move on to the bigger and better things. So like I mentioned, I had the opportunity today, this week I've had the chance to read lots of comic books actually. So, because there's been a lot of free time at work luckily. So I had the chance today to read Cyborg Volume 1 for Rebirth and Green Arrow Volume 1 for Rebirth. And yesterday I got to read DC has been has been doing re-releases of all like the Hanna-Barbera cartoons, but like updated versions with modern writers and artists and stuff, and kind of modernizing all of them. So I got the chance to read Flintstones Volume 1, and let me just tell you right now, out of those three, Green Arrow 1, Cyborg 1, and Flintstones 1, I bet you wouldn't guess this, but I'm going to have to say Simpsons Volume 1 is the best of those three.
Simpsons?
Flintstones. Flintstones Volume 1, I'm going to give a 10 out of 10.
Wow.
But I'll explain that thrice. So first, Cyborg 1. So really quick, basically this tells the story of Victor. At the beginning of Rebirth, the Star Labs was being attacked, and he found out, after he kind of defeated the threat, he found this thing that was a recording from his dad, saying that his dad was like, I don't know if it's actually my son, or if this is just like a robot, like a Frankenstein that appears like my son. So the central plot of this one was Victor dealing with his humanity, and is he really just a machine, or is he more man? Is he more horse than man, or more man than horse?
Yeah.
Bojack. So basically, a bunch of stuff happens. There's a conflict with these android cyborgs that apparently they're kind of going behind the scenes, but are trying to recruit Cyborg to their cause. very like Terminator Matrixy. But Cyborg, I really kind of found a new like for. So he's established in Detroit, and I didn't know that. So I learned a lot more about Cyborg. He really connects. Even though he feels distant from the community, the Star Labs people he's really close with. So it did a good job humanizing Cyborg as much as possible, but showing off some of his cool like powers. So he's able to like he was talking about how the one girl took him to a jazz club and was like, it's Cyborg. If you need to find your like, or Vic, if you need to find your soul, you have to go to listen to some jazz. And he's like, this is stupid. I could listen to every jazz song ever recorded in nanoseconds, uploaded into my memory banks. Like, I could do it in literally nanoseconds. And she's like, that's not the point. That's why you need to listen to live music. And like, there was a cool like allegory about like improvisation being something that humans...
about the notes you don't hear.
Yeah, and that humans can do that and machines can't. And so that was kind of cool.
Rubbing his face in it. Huh?
And then and then there was another bit where they were the one robot they were fighting was like diving into his mind and messing with his memories and like about how there was a cool like aside of showing Victor like how humans enslave machines any different than humans enslaving like your ancestors, Victor. And it was like doing like an allusion to like slavery in the United States. And there were some pretty powerful panels drawn of like Victor, like Cyborg's head, but connected to all these like technical wires that are showing his memories, and then like images he knows of, and one was like the KKK burning something and some stuff, and so it was pretty powerful imagery. So Cyborg Volume 1 overall was a good story. I'd give it an 8.
Okay.
The one thing I didn't like about it was I like when, at least for stories, the artists, even if they change artists mid-story or even mid-chapter, like mid-book, that they try and stay with a similar art style. And there was one in particular where the art style changed halfway through, like so drastically. It went from did you ever see the John Henry Disney cartoon?
Yeah.
It switched from being like almost like the Justice, I would say like the Justice League cartoon, like the animated movies, like that style. It's pretty like, sort of anime inspired, but pretty realistic. From that to like the John Henry cartoon, like one page, the next page, it's like John Henry cartoon. It was a weird switch.
Ooh, that is really weird.
And I didn't like the artwork at all, so it was weird. But yeah, 8 out of 10. Green Arrow, just really quick. I'm just gonna say that it's good. Read it.
Fair enough.
And it was the first time I've ever seen Diggle show up in the comic books.
Oh, nice.
He showed up in New 52, but apparently something must have happened where him and Oliver kind of split. So in this one, in Rebirth Volume 1, they came back. And they're
sweet.
So halfway through...
So now Diggle is Spartan.
He's Diggle.
Oh, okay.
He's just Diggle. But Oliver and Diggle had to team up to fight this organization. Actually, this is really cool, though. It's called the Ninth Circle. And it was like a lot of Dante illusion, like Dante Alighieri, like imagery, and the thing was the Inferno, and it was like this huge like ship in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and them storming, like Oliver and Diggle on their boat storming the Inferno to try and save Black Canary and Oliver's sister, was pretty sweet, and how it was drawn was awesome. So I would give that one, I'd give it a 9. It was really good. Now, Flintstones. This is where I'm just take a couple minutes to tell you about the Flintstones, because it was a gay old time.
Okay.
The Flintstones, this book is probably the best satire I have read or like seen, been aware since definitely the past year, for sure.
Okay.
It is. So it has all the like the old school Flintstones like puns, like rock puns, and the jokes about the the appliances being creatures and all that kind of stuff. But it has a deeper look at like so many things, commenting on marriage, on marriage equality. There's a whole bit making fun of about how to the cave people, marriage is like horrible because they're like protesting and they're saying that God hates dads and like go back to the sex cave like nature intended, don't pair up, you're hurt. And then they yell. Well, there's a whole big whole chapter about that, and then at the end they finally are like, hey guys, like listen, like if some of you want to get married and some don't, like that's okay. We should be able to accept each other's lifestyles and stuff. And then right at the end, these two cavemen, who funny enough are really good friends with Fred, and they're named Adam and Steve. Adam and Steve show up and are like, guys, we decided to get married. And the guy, the head of the church, who was the one in charge of trying to the biggest voice for marriage, is like, whoa, wait a second, you guys are non-breeders, you can't get married. And Wilma and Fred are like, what the hell are you talking? You were just telling us like we all should get married. Like, what the hell? He's like, well, this is no big deal. But it was funny that, like, when they're at this big, like, meeting protesting, some of the cavemen are like, well, if you let the men and women start getting married, well, what next? They'll start marrying dinosaurs and the appliances. And so it was a good commentary on that.
Yeah.
It got really deep with, like, how Barney and Fred were veterans in this war against the tree people.
Oh,
and
shit.
how, like, they go to the VA and stuff. And like, Fred kind of has PTSD. Like, it had some deep moments, but it was awesome. Everything about it was really good. I literally laughed out loud probably once or twice per chapter. Like, it's really good.
Wow.
So I would honestly recommend anyone,
10 out of 10, huh?
any of you guys who have the chance, before writing it off, check out the New Flintstones Volume 1. New Flintstones comics. They are great.
That's awesome.
And it was rated one that I saw a review somewhere else before I even gave this review, obviously, but it was mentioning how it was like the number one like top comic that you're not reading right now, and I would agree with that assessment. Like, it is super good.
So there's a couple things I want to touch on quick before we move on to the next segment. I have had a chance to watch 2 series that have recently just wrapped up, both comic book related, Iron Fist and Legion.
I want to hear about these.
Okay, so I'll start with Iron Fist. A lot of people are saying outright, like, it's bad. I disagree. I don't think it's great. I think it's the weakest of the Defenders
Which I would
series.
say is the consensus right now.
Yeah. Here's the thing. The first, like, 5 episodes are pretty slow and pretty boring. Once you hit, like, episode 6, it starts to pick up
How
really
many are
good.
there, 10?
13.
Okay.
So about halfway through the show is where it starts to pick up. The problem is that, first of all, they go through this whole thing about, like, is he really Danny Rand? Who is Danny Rand? But we as the audience know that he's Danny Rand, so we don't care that the characters are confused. You could wrap that ish up in in half an episode. You know what I mean? And then a lot of it is the lead actor, Finn Jones.
Okay.
He's not great, and I think maybe it has something to do with what he has to work with. But
Does he not have pathos?
yeah, well, you would not believe how much of this show is just taken up with him doing Tai Chi.
Oh.
It's a lot of him doing Tai Chi, and when he's not doing Tai Chi, he's kind of whiny. And like when he's not centered, he's just like a freak out machine. A lot of the characters are just kind of boring or 2-dimensional, unfortunately. And the kung fu, which you think there would be like just a dickload of kung fu in every episode, there's very little.
Really?
Once we hit episode 6, which is far and away the best episode in the show, there's a lot of kung fu there because he has to like go through like a tournament with these bad guys.
It's really Dragon Ball Z.
Which is really cool. First, he has to fight these 2 guys that like fight him at the same time. Then he has to fight a girl that is an adaptation of a character from the comics called the Bride of 9 Spiders.
Whoa.
And then he has to fight some other random guy who fights him with a bunch of swords.
9 spiders. Is that 72 dicks? Each spider has 8 dicks, right?
No, I think spiders only have 1 dick.
No, that's why they're arachnoids.
They're arachnoids?
Arachnoids have 8 dicks.
Oh, okay. Well, there you heard it here first, folks, because Josh just made that up.
70, that's 72 dicks she's married to.
Well, anywho, yeah, but they're all really, really small. Anyway, so, yeah, here's the thing. The show keeps talking about Kunlun and talking about where he trained, and talking about Shao Lao the Undying, the dragon that he has to defeat in order to get the power of the Iron Fist, which he doesn't use nearly enough of in this show, which they explain later in the season, like, he can't just Iron Fist whenever he wants because it drains his chi. But without saying that, like, for the majority of the show, you have no idea why he won't just Iron Fist the fuck out of these people.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, like, it would be like if Superman was like, guys, I don't feel like heat visioning today.
Yeah.
So here's the thing about the whole show. I understand they wanted to see Danny Rand in New York to set up for...
Is that Iron Fist's name?
Yeah.
Danny Rand?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Oh, and quick a side note for all the people who are like, oh, they should have, cast an Asian American. Why didn't they do that?
He's not Asian.
He's not Asian American. And here's the thing. You could do whatever you want with a character.
To be fair, Danny Rand's not American at all. Isn't it English?
No, he's American.
I thought it was.
No. He's basically Batman. but like kung fu.
No, I meant the actor who plays Danny Rand.
Oh,
Isn't the
Finn
actor-
Jones.
isn't he English?
I don't know.
I think he's English.
Might be. But in any case, just to wrap it up, I feel like this show should have taken place in Kunlun and shown the actual dragon and him getting the power of the Iron Fist, making a bona fide origin
Oh,
story.
it's not?
No, it starts off with him just getting to New York. And then all the other stuff they just talk about.
No
I'm
dragons?
like, no, you don't even see Shao Lao, the fucking dragon. You only see his red eyes in a dark cave.
Oh, we want dragons.
Yeah, we should have seen him become the Iron Fist and seen him
That would've been the-
fighting against the Hand.
That would have been the first dragon in the MCU.
Yeah. And then at the end, the end of it could have been him getting to New York.
Yeah, save some money and so cut out a couple scenes of him talking and spend that budget on dragon.
Yeah, absolutely. We needed like 10 times more dragon.
I'm gonna go on a record and say that pretty much anything would be better with a little more dragon in it.
Yeah.
Friends, season 10, dragon.
Yeah. The ending of How I Met Your Mother, people really don't like that. What if a dragon just came by and ate Robin?
Sopranos, nobody knows what happened at the end.
Oh, no. Dragon would eat Ted Mosby. Fuck that guy.
True. Dragon.
Oh, what if Neil Patrick Harris turned into a dragon?
Mary Poppins, if at the end, when she's flying away on her little thing, dragon flies by, scoops her up.
Yeah, Pete's dragon, put another dragon in there.
Yeah.
Double dragon.
How to Train Your Dragon. Instead of having a boy train the dragon, have a dragon train the dragon.
Oh, that's a good one. Star Wars, don't touch Star Wars. Stop
No.
adding large reptiles to Star Wars.
Time out. How freaking badass would it be if at Darth Vader's death castle on Mustafar, he had a dragon?
He rode a goddamn dragon.
Or he just had one, like a.
No, I mean like the Witch King from Lord of the Rings.
That is definitely got to be an
Darth
existence.
Vader on the back of a dragon
Someone's drawn that, or
with a
that's on
cape and a
that's
lightsaber?
on a T-shirt or something. That
Yeah.
exists, guaranteed.
No man can defeat me.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Passion of the Christ would have been way better with dragons.
Oh, dude. Yes, it would have.
Come on.
If that would have extended clear into Revelation.
Yeah, like just let's do the whole 9 yards. Mel, come on.
The end of the movie, you see him stand. You remember the last shot of that was you like see through his hand and he walks out of the cave.
You don't see him walk; you just see his hand, right?
You see him like stand up and then you see his hand and, then,
through
then he takes a step.
through the hole in the hand, a dragon approaching.
No, what I was going to say is you just see him standing there and then his skin turns green and he like sprouts wings
no.
and flies away.
No. Dragons are cool, but humans turning into dragons is stupid.
No, that's not stupid.
Name one movie where something turns into a dragon and is cool.
Beowulf.
Bale doesn't turn into a dragon.
His son does.
No.
Yeah.
No, Angelina Jolie did.
No, Angelina Jolie doesn't turn into a dragon. The son of Angelina Jolie in Beowulf turns into a dragon.
Isn't it just a dragon already?
Yeah, but when he kills him, he turns back into a dude.
That movie was stupid.
It was all right.
It was stupid.
It was all right.
All right, moving on.
It was not the original telling of Beowulf at all, but
All right, so Iron Fist, good, bad, meh.
it's meh.
Okay.
It's not awful, but I feel like there's a lot of missed opportunity.
Not enough, meh, comma, not enough dragons.
Yeah, not enough dragons.
That should be the new one. That should be good, bad, and not enough dragons.
That's that's the tagline for this show. Like the Strong and the Geek podcast. We have dragons.
No, the Strong Geek podcast, meh, not enough dragons. Like, that's what our thing on iTunes should be.
The other thing is Legion, which just wrapped up. Now, Legion is super cool. For
Totally.
anyone who hasn't watched it, it's super cool. It's only 8 episodes. You could binge that ish in one day.
Yeah.
And it is a mind fuck. Did you watch it?
I've only heard good things, but
Okay. So the show is shown from the perspective of somebody who has schizophrenia. You can never be sure of what's real and what isn't.
Right.
And he's a crazy powerful mutant. This is the first show that takes place in the X-Men universe.
Right. So it's not just an X-Men show. It is confirmed to be in continuity with the movies,
No, they don't confirm that.
but that's what it's supposed to be?
Yeah.
Okay.
Presumably. I mean, they don't make any mentions. It could not be. But it
But they
is-
talk about mutants, right?
Yeah, they talk about mutants.
But they don't talk about the X-Men?
No. But you do see the X logo on things.
Oh.
So that might just be like a nice little nod, or it could be direct.
I mean, Xavier likes to put that shit on everything, so.
Yeah. So Legion follows a guy named David, who in the comics, he has multiple personalities, and each one is like a different superpower. In this, the shorthand for that is he has a bunch of superpowers, he doesn't exactly know how to use them, and he's schizophrenic. But the schizophrenia is in part because he hears voices because he's telepathic, and he doesn't know that that's the case. And second, because I don't know if you're familiar with a character from the X-Men universe called the Shadow King, but the Shadow King is like an interdimensional being who can inhabit people. in this case, they're saying that he's like a mutant that doesn't have a body. And he's been inhabiting David since he was a baby. And eventually, like, he's trying to take control of him because David is the most powerful mutant in the world.
Besides Xavier.
Oh, no. Way more powerful than Xavier.
Oh, wow.
Because his power set is unclear. He's telekinetic. He's telepathic. He can stop time, basically. There's so many things that he can do. It's unclear, like, where the edge of his powers are. Because he has no clue. But the show is slow. I'll give you that. But it's slow in a way that it keeps you sitting there on the edge of your seat, like, when's something big gonna happen? And they change stuff up episode to episode, like the way that they'll shoot things, or they'll have like a random sequence that's like a song and dance number, because again, it's coming from the perspective of someone who reality isn't necessarily attached.
Right.
So like randomly, all the characters in one of the episodes like started singing and having a song and dance number, and David's just looking around like, what the fuck is going on? And as the audience, we know that's not actually happening, but he's having trouble connecting to what's actually happening around him. It's an awesome show. It really was. And I can't wait for the second season because it ended on a neat little cliffhanger. So I'll give it a good.
Cool.
There were not nearly enough dragons.
Oh, I thought you were going to say good and dragons.
Yeah.
All right, so I think it's about time for us to talk about the Geek of the Week.
Yeah, we can talk about that Geek of the Week.
You mean the Geek of the Week? Chugga chugga, dun dun. I feel like the more we talk about dragons, the less we have sound effects in the show. We're evolved. That sounded like the Penn State lion.
No, that's all I got.
So, this week, let's just make this short and brief. The Geek of the Week this week is Elon Musk and SpaceX.
Good at you, Elon.
It's been great. Another award.
Yep.
You guys know, in reality, the reason why is because this week they did something that no man or organization or woman
Or dragon.
had ever done before. They successfully reused a rocket.
Which doesn't sound like a big deal, but it really is.
It's a huge
Normally, rockets just kind of get blown off in the atmosphere.
And are out there in space somewhere.
Yeah, just being collected by space junkies. But the thing about this is that if you can reuse a rocket, you can go anywhere. Like, you can refuel and keep going deeper into space.
Right.
Because before, what it was meaning a manned mission. Because before, once you get up enough momentum with, like, a satellite or whatever, it just drifts off into space forever.
And gets where it needs to go and transmits the information back.
Right. But with a reusable rocket, you could fly to, say, Mars, refuel on Mars, and then fly back. Without having to build a whole new rocket. It saves a lot of money and makes space exploration more cost effective.
And with NASA and China and Russia basically pumping the brakes on their space programs, it's sweet to see SpaceX and Elon independently trying to explore and try and get to the final frontier.
Yeah. So there you have it. Good on you, Elon, for getting us one step closer to Star Trek.
No music, music, but no money for you. You don't need it. You sure as shit don't.
No, you don't need it. And you don't even believe that we're living in the real universe. So I don't know why you keep building stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
he's convinced that we're in a simulation.
The Matrix, yeah. He's got a lot of weird theories.
Maybe he believes that if he can fly a rocket fast enough, he can break out the sides of the simulation.
What do you think?
Like we're on a holodeck?
What do you think's going to happen if, it turns out that all this is like the Truman Show for Elon Musk?
that we're all unwittingly actors?
Yeah. We didn't know, but we actually are Matt. Or what if we're a computer
programs? That's like a double-blind Truman Show.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's how the first Truman Show was like they fucked up. So this is like the second version where everybody else isn't in on it.
But isn't that just reality? Where like everyone is, like we're all playing our part, but we don't know it?
But the star is Elon Musk.
Oh, okay.
Like he's
secretly Elon Musk is the star of the planet Earth.
Right. And the guy in Truman Show, what was his name? The guy who
Truman.
No, not Truman. No, the guy who made the show.
I don't remember.
It was just one word. It was like Stefan or something like that.
I don't remember.
Well, it's him. It's that guy. That actor. It is the guy who's in charge of it all.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Right. Yeah. Elon saw that movie, that and The Matrix. He's not allowed to watch anymore. They're on his blacklist.
Yeah. Although I don't know, maybe like Justice League will come out and he'll be like, I bet I can make a Superman. And he'll just whip up a Superman.
Well, I mean, we live in a world where Lex Luthor is president, so presumably having other superheroes, other super geniuses step up to the plate, it's not too bad.
Does that make Kellyanne Conway Mercy Graves?
Yeah.
Just like a much less cool version?
Yeah. Well, Steve Bannon was Bizarro until today, so...
Yeah, he just got, he didn't get axed altogether, but he got dropped off the National Security Council.
Reorganized.
Yeah, I feel like Trump is probably sick of hearing people say that he's the real president.
Yep.
And he's throwing a tantrum.
Yep.
Which is the way the media's got to do it. We got to convince Donald Trump that, like, hey, you know what? Taking healthcare away from people, that's a real bitch move. And I'll be like, I'm not a bitch. Everyone gets healthcare.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, he's a Luthor through and through. All right. So anyway, our main story tonight is this past week or so, a film came out in honor of our childhood television dreams, and this was a remake of the Power Rangers in live action, turned PG-13. Now, to be fair,
hence the opening theme song, by the way.
Correct. Which, in case you couldn't tell, was a girl shredding on bagpipes to the original Power Rangers.
Yeah, the Snake Charmer is what she goes by on YouTube, and she is a bagpipe. Metal
bagpipe,
which is pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, now neither Ben nor I have seen Power Rangers, so
I haven't made it to the cinema.
I think I'm probably gonna end up watching it on DVD, or Blu-ray, or digital. But that being said, in honor of that series of events, we decided for just a few minutes here to take an examination of shows that we loved as kids, that we would want to see get the Power Rangers treatment.
Also in honor of Samurai Jack coming back for a final season. So we're going to either see something come back for a movie, like live action, big cinema, blockbuster, or come back for one final season.
To finish the story.
But again, now that the fans of said material are adults, this is just us having a little fangasm about thinking about, like, oh, what if this happened? Now that it's grown up and we like to see blood and sex.
So basically, we're going to we're basically
and dragons.
And dragons. We're basically going to say, this is my idea, it's getting the Power Rangers treatment, or this is my idea, it's getting the Samurai Jack treatment.
And to start off, speaking of dragons, getting the Samurai Jack treatment, Pokemon.
Okay.
Now,
gotta catch 'em all.
I understand that Pokemon is still running. The show's like 17 in its 17th or 18th season. But I'm saying go back to the end of...
Ash is caught in a time loop.
Yeah.
He's still 10.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We go back to, as a nod to the fans, go back to the original generation of Pokemon, and we see what would happen if it was just that generation of Pokemon.
151?
Yeah, like 20 years later.
Right.
Where Ash is a 30-year-old guy. He has... Some of his Pokemon have died off, so he still has Pikachu and like the core, like Charmander and whatnot, that they're now all fully evolved. Like basically the six that are his team. What does he have? Charmander, the starting three, then Pikachu, Lapras, and Snorlax.
He had a Charizard, and then he had a Charizard, then a Squirtle that I don't think Squirtle evolved. He had a Bulbasaur, which I don't think evolved. He had Pikachu, then he had some other stuff.
Yeah. Well, in any case, so we have him, we have Brock, and we have Misty. Now, this is 20 years later, and I don't know, a lot of people don't know that in the lore of the Pokemon games, there was a great Pokemon war that took place.
Yeah, they talk about this, like Lieutenant Surge talks about, like, in the war, I used my electric type to...
So, I want to see another great Pokemon war. Pokemon World War II. If that was the great Pokemon War, this is like there's a Poke Hitler who rises to power, who's saying that like all the water types are need to be rounded up in camps or whatever. Right. Like we get a straight up Hitler allegory.
Water types on the media.
Yeah, and so he thinks that all Pokemon should be fire types or whatever, and so he's gonna kill the world, and. We just get to actually see, like, battlefields where, speaking of dragons, we get Ash riding a Charizard as it's, like, burning Poke-Nazis.
Yeah. Or an Aerodactyl.
Yeah. So, I'd love to see that come back for, like, a season on, like, Netflix.
Right.
Animated still, but, like, more of a, like, Attack on Titan, sort of, like, really graphic adult anime. I think could be really, really cool.
I think so this would be my take on that. I think it'd be cool if instead it was either a movie or like a short so either Power Rangers, no, not Power Rangers treatment. I'd want to go with the Samurai Jack's child treatment.
Yeah, give it enough time for the story to unfold.
But mine wouldn't be Ash or anything. Mine would be so after it would take place. Everything after Pokemon the first movie is not canon anymore.
Oh, what am I thinking? Mewtwo is clearly Pokemon headline.
Well, I was going to say is that for me it would be that Mewtwo, even though at the end him and Mew kind of went off, and it was supposed to be like a happy ending, so to speak, that Mewtwo was going to learn from Mew to love life and stuff. I was going to say that is actually not what happened. That Mewtwo decided he hated life, so he came back and took over the world. And this is like 20 years later that Mewtwo has been running it. Humans are basically like Terminator. Like humans now are
slaves to the Pokemon,
or they're
instead of the other way around.
Or they're almost extinct. And so
humans are kept in Pokeballs.
And no. Humans are like they've been like killed off pretty much, except for like some enclaves here and there. And so this guy like shows like his old Pokeball or something, and gives it like one of the last trained Pokemon. He finds his old Pokeball and like gives it to his son or something while he's dying, or the son finds it or something. And that's the only Pokemon left. And let's say it's like a Pikachu or something. Who cares? I don't care what kind of Pokemon it is, but. Or his 3 starters, like a Charizard, or a Charmander, a Bulbasaur, and a Squirtle. And like over the series, he has to take those the only 3 Pokemon left in the world that are trained and listen, and use them to defeat the evil Mewtwo and bring happiness to the world again. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
And his name could be Red, or Blue.
Yeah, or a different tree word.
Yeah,
like elm, or bark.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was thinking of him being like the starter Pokemon guy, but
I know, but all of the characters in that show were named after trees.
That's true. So here's mine. Getting the Power Rangers treatment, I would like to see, Hey Arnold!
Oh.
Arnold! Okay.
This would be like a young adults movie?
I would imagine it being PG-13. Or even, honestly, if it took the, like, route of like Moonlight and being like an R-rated, like it deals with some serious themes that teenagers like deal with.
Okay.
So not like an action movie or anything, but I think that Hey Arnold tackled some pretty serious stuff. Like remember the Stoop Kid? That was a big thing about like people making fun of him, or the pigeon guy that like the fan theories that the pigeon guy killed himself and stuff.
Yeah.
And everybody made fun of pigeon guy. Like I think that have a movie that takes these characters, obviously changes their appearances enough, so you can't have an actor with a football head. That wouldn't make any sense. But, like, make a movie that's, like, a serious, tackles these issues, like a contemporary coming-of-age, like, teenage story in America based on Hey Arnold.
I see it as being kind of like Juno. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like a modern-day
John Hughes.
high school. Yeah, like a modern-day John Hughes. Like a high school coming-of-age tale.
I think that would be good. It could be Hey Arnold, and it's the story of Arnold. And I know they are. It turns out this year they are releasing a Hey Arnold movie, cartoon.
Really?
Well, not. It's going to be on TV, I think, not in theaters movie.
But still, that's like 15 years too late.
Right. Well, it's completing the story, so they are giving it the cartoon treatment, where Hey Arnold is going to go back and try and finally look for his parents in South America or whatever.
Okay. So in the end of your movie, does Arnold and Helga end up together?
I don't know, maybe. Like, whatever.
Or does it, like, everyone finds her shrine and then she's taken to a psychiatric hospital?
I don't know if she would have the shrine per se. I think that mine would end with them battling the witch and Goldar. It's a Power Rangers treatment. So it's just Hey Arnold and Power Rangers put together? No. I don't know how the movie would end. I just think it would be cool to see the Hey Arnold characters and the Hey Arnold universe made into live action and tackling some more serious stuff. Like maybe Gerald has to deal with some racism and some of the characters are gay and Arnold doesn't know how to masturbate. I don't know.
I think it'd be great if the show or the movie ended with like somewhere at the beginning of somewhere in the movie they find Helga's like shrine to Arnold made out of old chewing gum and clippings from hair, and she gets institutionalized, and then the movie ends with like him visiting her in the hospital and them like playing cards together or something. It's just like a really sad, like it pans out of the hospital
Right.
or zooms out, I mean, and then it's just like a bird flies by.
See, I would want the movie to end with like something like kind of like whatever happens, they resolve the conflict, whatever, and the movie ends just with someone tapping and be like, "Hey, Arnold," and then just end, fade to black.
Or like he wakes up,
And
someone's
they-
like, "Hey, Arnold,"
And they don't,
He just
and they
wakes
don't,
up.
and they don't. No, they don't say it throughout the entire
And he's still
movie.
a cartoon that his entire dream was real life.
That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, but that's my idea for Hey Arnold.
All right, cool. I have another Power Rangers treatment. How many of you guys remember Beast Wars, the Transformer spin-off show where they were all animals?
My hand is raised.
Okay, so Beast Wars was a cool show, right? Like I distinctly remember that actually being a lot of fun and it dealing with some heavier stuff, especially with that Velociraptor. Which was he Starscream?
I don't know. I think so.
Yeah, because I know that they were all supposed to have originally been the characters from the show.
Oh, they were.
That crash landed. Did they go through a time portal?
Yeah, they went in a time portal and went back to the prehistoric age. But then or something like that, because they find the Autobots frozen in ice in like the final season of Beast Wars or something. I don't know if you ever remember that.
I don't.
Go back, like and I don't remember how this worked, but I remember that they encountered the Autobots at some point.
Weird.
But not actually engaging with them, like they were like frozen or something.
Weird. All right, well, in any case, what I'm saying is, I think it'd be great if we got a Transformers movie that was just the fucking Transformers. And you would have talking animals. Everyone loves talking animals, and everyone loves giant robots. The things that they hate about the Transformers movie are all the stupid people. Like Shia LaBeouf and Mark Wahlburgers.
Yeah, I will say I agree. I think that the humans are really... I know you can't... It's an animated movie if it's just... CGI things.
For sure.
But I'm fine with that. I'd be fine with an animated movie. Because the humans ruined the Transformers movies. And you know what? As time goes on, when I first saw the Transformer, I thought it was okay. Now, as I've rewatched them and watched the newer ones, like I don't like them at all.
Well, and they've systematically gotten worse and worse and worse.
But they've also made me hate the original even more and more, too.
For sure. But yeah, you would have no random sex object like Megan Fox or British girl whose name doesn't matter or other girl whose name doesn't matter.
She was an Australian?
Was she Australian?
I don't know.
I said British.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. So you wouldn't have to worry about that. You wouldn't have to worry about some actor who can't really act like Mark Wahlberg or Shia LaBeouf. You wouldn't have any of that garbage. You would just have cool robot fighting robot action and dinosaur fighting gorilla action. That is awesome. That's Kong Skull Island and freaking like Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
Together in a movie. How did that sound? Just those words put together.
That would be incredible.
So there you go. That's what I'm thinking. We get Beast Wars the movie, and I don't know. You get the same voice actor for Optimus Prime, obviously, because he's the greatest voice actor of all time. And then the rest you can just kind of do whatever you want. Whatever you want.
Yeah. I mean, I would watch that.
Yeah.
I would most certainly go see it. Yeah, I'm almost positive, though. Sorry, I was just thinking. I'm almost positive that Beast Wars, something happened where, like, the Autobots and the Decepticons got sent back in time from the 80s, and they find the original Optimus Prime and stuff.
But how would they find the original Optimus Prime? Were the Transformers frozen on Earth?
I don't know the details. I have to go back and watch, but I'm almost positive that in like season 2 or season 3 of Beast Wars, like Optimus Prime was like in robot form. It was there. It's like they see him like Optimus Prime.
Huh.
From the original cartoon.
Do you remember that there was a spin-off series where they were in like back on Cybertron or whatever, and they were half animal, half like
Car?
machine? Yeah.
No.
You remember that?
No.
Oh, I do.
I mean, we might be making shit up here, but
No. I clearly remember the little rat guy. Remember the little rat guy?
Yeah.
It was him, but
He had
was
wheels.
Like, he had wheels. You do remember that?
I thought that wasn't there on Cybertron. I thought that was they got like didn't they get like a boost, like an upgrade, and they all got upgrades?
Yeah, but I remember the scenery being like a city.
Dude, you're probably thinking of when they found the ships and stuff.
You know what? I'm gonna have to look this shit up on YouTube or something.
All right. Anyway, so for me, my final one here, getting the Samurai Jack treatment. So I did Power Rangers for Hey Arnold. Samurai Jack treatment here. Dexter's Laboratory.
Okay.
And here's the thing. Gendy Tartakovsky?
Gendy, I believe.
The Samurai Jack guy is the same guy who was the Powerpuff Girls and Dexter's Lab guy. So he knows how to do this. Bring Dexter's Lab back. But here's my thought. Dexter, this is 10 years in the future, 15 years in the future. Dexter's given up the lab. when he started to go through puberty, he decided, this is kid stuff, even though it really wasn't kid stuff. But he decided to leave the lab behind, so the lab has become dilapidated. He hasn't been in there in years. He's been doing his own thing. Basically, I'll explain it this way. Make this final season of Dexter's Lab The Dark Knight Returns, only with Dexter.
Okay.
Something threatens the planet. Dexter's pretty much lost all purpose in life. He's probably addicted to drugs. Who knows? He's come up down. Dee Dee died at some point or something. Something leads him to go back down to into the lab. He goes to the lab and fights this final threat, whether it's Mandark or aliens or who knows, monkey, I don't know, whatever.
Ooh, or Quackor the Fowl.
Yeah, whatever. Or those superhero guys. Whoever, it doesn't matter. But Dexter's final season is him coming back and saving the world one more time by stepping back foot in the lab. And the computer is the one who, like, when he's talking to computer's like gonna be like, Dexter, what the hell happened to you or something. It would be deep, it would be dark, there'd be some blood, some action, some heartfelt moments, and in the end, Dexter would avenge Dee Dee.
Yeah, giant robot battle. Is he getting the Dexter robot?
Oh, there would definitely.
What was the name of that Dexter
I don't know,
robot?
but there would definitely be a final Dexter battle.
Okay. Artwork, you're thinking kind of like the same, but more adult, like what they've done with Samurai Jack?
Or, remember the Dexter movie when you saw, like, an old version of Dexter who was like that, who was like the Road Warrior? Like, that kind of thing.
Okay. Maybe the villain could be their amalgamation of Stephen Hawking. You remember that episode?
Yeah.
That was kind of fucked up, right?
It was
in hindsight, that it turns out he could walk the whole time.
And wasn't he, like, in a bird, like, didn't he get
He
into
was in a bird suit.
A bird suit?
Because his name was Professor Hawk. Remember, that's Professor Hawk.
I actually, I should go back and rewatch that now.
That was Stephen Hawking. They were laughing at Stephen Hawking because he's a robot man.
Well, maybe they got his. Nah, I'll have to go back and rewatch that. But that is pretty fucked up, actually.
And he just randomly like gets up and starts walking because he doesn't have. What does Stephen Hawking have? ALS.
I'm not sure.
Because he doesn't have that. He was just in a chair.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right, so your final thought?
All right, I have an idea that I think could be fun. I don't know how good it would be. Power Rangers treatment.
Okay.
It would be a heist movie.
Okay.
Similar to like Ocean's 11. Ed and Eddie breaking in to a jawbreaker factory.
Okay.
I think it could be a lot of fun.
A live action?
Yeah, it would be like a movie where a group of kids. It would be a kids movie. You know what I mean? Where they they're gonna break in and steal these jawbreakers because that's the one thing that they like more than anything. And maybe you could have a subplot that like the jawbreaker factory's shutting down, so they have to do it now before they all get like thrown away or something.
Yeah, and the weird sisters are there to try and make out with them.
Yeah. So you have Ed and Eddie, and then you have the whole cast of kids from the neighborhood, and they all have to pull together Ocean's 11 style.
Oh, what about Plank?
Oh, Plank is going to play a big role in this.
Okay, Plank was the man.
He's going to probably like brace a door open so that they can get out.
Yeah. You know what? You just heard it here first. That's going to be my Halloween costume, at least for one day this year.
You're dressed like Plank.
Not Plank, the kid who had Plank.
Oh, okay.
Whatever his name was.
Yeah, his name didn't matter.
His costume.
Johnny?
Yeah, Johnny. I think Johnny. Like just a shirt and some shorts and then Plank.
And then you're going to just get a piece of wood and draw
Draw
a face on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Deep cuts, man.
That'd be a good one. That'd be a good one.
But yeah, I think that a heist movie with Ed and Eddie could just be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It starts off with kids riding their bikes in the neighborhood. It's got a really cool like kids movie feel to it.
It'd be really funny if like at the end when they like get to the jawbreakers, they see them and they're like how they were in the cartoon, like that huge, and they're like, "How are we gonna eat these?"
Oh, absolutely.
they're like, how does this work?
Yeah, it could be called like Ed and Eddie. I was gonna say breaking jaws, but
No.
Like a joke on breaking laws, but,
Yeah.
that's not good.
Jawbreaker. No, that doesn't make sense. Jawbreakers would be stupid. Something like that.
Oh, what if the name of the movie was just Jawbreakers?
Oh, and no one knew it was an edit movie
Yeah.
until they got into it.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool, actually. Actually, I said final thought, but I did have one more to mention. I think Power Rangers treatment, a horror movie, like rated R, super scary, monster, creature flick, real monsters.
Oh,
So
monsters.
make it a live action. Obviously, the monsters would be practical effects and CG. But
Dude, I gotta tell you, Crumb would look fucking terrifying.
They all would. They all would look scary, and it could be kind of like So it'd be almost like Monsters Inc. Like real, but like the monsters are really scaring people, and no plot. Just like these kids are getting terrified by these monsters, and you're rooting for the monsters.
Dude, seriously, I'm actually kind of creeped out right now because I just envision like a dark hallway, and then just a hand coming around a corner,
And it's holding an
holding
eyeball.
a dripping eyeball,
And that's what
and then another one, and then the head coming out sideways, and you see all that gross armpit hair and that
Yeah.
big old schnoz.
Dude, I'm telling you, All Real Monsters would be a terrifying. It would be a Halloween smash.
And then there was the snake lady. What was her name? The one with the big lips?
I don't know any of their names.
Well, there was Crumb. He was the one with the hands.
The little devil guy.
And then there was the little devil guy who was like a weird rabbit.
Yeah.
Why do I only remember Crumb?
And there was the black and white. The snake
That's what
lady.
I'm talking about.
I don't remember their names. I didn't like the show, but
I loved the show.
I wasn't a big fan of All Real Monsters. But I think it'd be cool if they made a scary live action version of it.
Yeah. The other thing, or like, if it wasn't a scary horror movie, it'd make a great Tim Burton film.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like, especially because the idea of like having a village of monsters that lives beneath a dump,
Yeah.
that is ripe for Tim Burton to make an
make it
adaptation.
PG-13 or something. Yeah.
Like a Nightmare Before Christmas, but
Real
monsters.
Either way, it would be a good movie, I think.
Yeah. Agreed.
So anything else, or
No, I think we could wrap things up.
I think that's just gonna put a cap on the Strong and the Geek then.
Yeah, and we're not going to bust that cap today.
Oh, no, we are not. So that about does it for our show for the week. Join us next week when we'll be discussing another hot take on some pop culture topic. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Check us out on iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, and make sure not only to listen to that video, but if you like it, like it. And if you like it a lot, subscribe.
Yeah, and if you have suggestions or thoughts, comment. Tell us what you think would be a great idea for a adaptation of something that you love from your childhood.
Or let us know how many dragons you'd like to see on the show.
Oh, yeah. No, just, you know what? If there are any artists that listen to us, just send us pictures of dragons.
Yeah.
I love pictures of dragons.
We will tweet out our home addresses.
Yeah.
No, we will not.
Dress up your dick like a dragon and dick pic us.
Oh, yeah, we do love
Dragon dick pic.
We do DDPs in our DMs.
Yeah.
So you all stay strong.
And stay geek.
Chugga chugga. I bet you all thought we were done having post-credit scenes.
Oh.
That we had moved on.
No strangers to love.
But we're never gonna give up having post-credit scenes.
By the way, we totally forgot to mention this episode, but it's been a year since we started this show.
1 whole year.
Thanks for sticking around, guys.
We were gonna wait and see if any of you guys noticed.
We're gonna rickroll you for another year.
Oh, you bet. Happy April Fools. Blah, 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 blah. You know, it'd be a really good April Fool's joke if we would have played this entire song. Just the first 3 minutes of the podcast would have been just us playing this song.
So people like tune out thinking they just got rickrolled.
Yeah, well, they see that there's like a whole hour of the show, but it was just this play. That would have been hilarious.
Or that was just our episode this week, was just us playing the Never Gonna Give You Up on loop for an
You know,
hour and
if
a half.
anyone leave this in here,
Oh,
and
I'm
if
gonna
anyone
leave this in.
if anyone listens to this whole thing, it doesn't cut the podcast off for it, they'll hear this next year's April Fool's joke. That episode that week, make it like a whole episode, so that record like nothing for like a whole hour, or just like or just something ridiculous.
Yeah. By the way, to those of you that stuck around through that little pause where we were hoping to catch any little flies that weren't listening in, thanks.
Yeah. If you come and see us, I'll give you a Reese's miniature.
Have a good week.